Alright, so I'm actually off on another adventure. I just landed in Houston, Texas, and I'm here for a really interesting show called Anime Matsuri, which kind of fuses anime and cosplay culture with cars. So quite excited for that. And to get things going, I actually hit up Ford here in the US to get the most American car possible for our little trip here to Texas. And what did they offer? This thing here. This is the new Ford Bronco Raptor in white, which is possibly the best color for it, I believe, at least in my opinion. And good lord, is this thing massive. This time we've been invited to actually cover the car portion of Anime Matsuri, which is a massive show that's been going on for 17 years here in Houston. And it's all about the anime side of the world, which is totally alien to what we do, or to what I do rather. And we're just gonna go inside the venue here in Houston and check out what cars showed up to the event and see if we can find anything cool to feature. So this is quite crazy that I'm seeing this car here in Texas, of all places. So this is, or at least this used to be, the Studi Super GT Z4 BMW race car that Taniguchi used to drive in the championship in Japan. And now the organizers of Anime Matsuri have actually picked the car up, and it's been on display here at Good Smile Racing next to a Tesla Model X that's stickered up in the same way. As you can see here, Taniguchi and Takaoka. So this is probably dating back to maybe a decade ago now. So really cool to be seeing something so close to home, but yet so far here where we are. As we walk across the venue here towards the other side, they've kind of brought together a small selection of local tuned cars from here in Houston. There's a lot of JDM on one side, there's a lot of American type stuff on the other, so that will be the portion that interests me here for this particular event. The car portion of the event begins here at the Tom's themed corner section, with the Anime Matsuri guys actually picking up a GR Corolla for this year and collaborating with Tom's in Japan, I guess on the first stage of the build. So we'll actually be following something happening in Japan with Tom's, specifically around the GR Corolla. But yeah, let's take a look at what they've created for this year. This is just a regular GR Corolla that's now sitting on raised wheels. And if you look closer, it even has some Tom's Brembo 6-pots front and some 4-pots at the back, shod in Bridgestone tires. And the collaboration with Rays continues on to this second GR Corolla that's over here. This one's running T37 SLs. It's Altezza on chrome SSRs. So I was actually talking to the owner of this car yesterday, and he was telling me that back in the early 2010s, this car actually participated in Formula D. So cool to see a vintage drift car, if you could call it that. Next up, we have this really sweet NSX on Advance. The really cool spoon calipers for that real, Honda otaku touch. And of course, being in the States, this is not an Honda NSX, it's an Acura NSX. Okay, so next up to the Acura NSX is this really sweet wide body 326 power S14. Kind of has that mid 2010s vibes about it. Panasport G7s and this gigantic rear spoiler just sticks out. It's definitely wild, and it's definitely 326 power, unmistakable style. But before we keep moving, there's This little trio back here, can't pass up. A nicely stanced Units Roadster on T37 SLs. I'm loving the wheel selection on these cars. Some older school Volk racing on this first gen ZN6. Now I feel like I'm right in Japan, seeing an old school Mitsubishi Canter loader, a double stacker here, with a couple of Nissans, R32 and a four-door R34 up there. A bit of VIP deep boost style vibes here with these Lexus or Celsiors, because they are actually badged as Toyotas. So of course, in Japan, everybody wants to drive the Lexus version of Toyotas. Everybody in the US wants the Toyota version, JDM versions of Toyotas. That's human nature for you. This has kept the Lexus badging in the back. So LS 400. This is super cool, two-tone. Massive wing at the back. Go from the more traditional VIP style. I like to call this style kind of like modern sporty VIP. It's a Toyota Camry TRD supercharger under there, boosting the 2G RFE. It's dumped right on the ground on some nice work wheels, some serious brakes, front and back. Yeah, very cool take on the kind of run-of-the-mill sedan. Next to it, as the number plate states, this is a 1995 Gojira R33, lots of carbon goodies, carbon fiber front bumper, spoiler, canards, hood, T37s, endless brakes, front and back, lots of color matching happening in the interior, lots of Anime Matsuri touches as well. Very nice build. Another cool pairing, two Imprezas. One is going for the whole HKS Mount Fuji design, and this GC8 four-door, it's kind of more sedate. Period correct all the way. Double venting on the hood. And from here on, things get really colorful. Lowrider type vehicles, with the hydraulic buttons on the center console there. Look at the battery setup on this one. Good Lord. Nice color flip here on this Lexus RC, and everybody's really stopping for a proper look at this metallic green NSX. Again, T37s seem to be the wheels of the show. Looks like it has a puncture, unfortunately. But yeah, what a nice clean setup. Interesting strut brace up there. T-top, so you can actually take a look inside. So finally we got to the Godzilla stand. Starts off with this tank, which is really interesting because we saw this being driven in yesterday and we were like, oh my lord, what's happening? Is there like a military coup happening? But yeah, not every day you see a tank at an event. And if you go around this side, complete bulletproof 6x6 monstrosity of a truck. These are probably pulled out of like a private collection. These things are joined by this helicopter and a Humvee. An interesting way to end the Anime Matsuri coverage. Just completed the Anime Matsuri car portion of the event. And with such a beautiful day here in Houston, or rather evening, we thought we'd come out and stick the two cars that we're running at the event in front of the downtown backdrop. So we're basically on Sabine Street here, which has a nice bridge overlooking the various areas here of Houston. Okay, so this was car number one. This is the Ford Bronco Raptor. Ford kindly left it for me to pick up at the airport. I've been meaning to drive something extremely American, so the first truck that came to mind when I was kind of planning this trip was the Bronco Raptor. Of course, we do not get the Ford Bronco in Japan. It's an American market only, and this is actually the Raptor version, so it comes with the massive over fenders, as you can see here, and 37-inch tires, and it's geared obviously for like off-roading, rock crawling, and pretty much being an all-rounder family car, family truck. And right behind it, running exactly the same V6 turbo power plant, is the Ford F-150 Raptor, but this is actually built by Hennessy, so it's the actual Velociraptor. As you can see, the branding is very visible. They've done away with the stock plastic bumpers and replaced it with a one-piece steel bumper sitting on 35s. Got gigantic Brembo brakes, and that's because this thing, as the number on the tailgate here points towards, actually produces 600 horsepower. So the V6, the 3.5 liter V6 turbo, has been fettled with and is now producing pretty much 150 horsepower more than stock. So this thing, despite the massive size, actually rips. It's so fast. It's ridiculously fast. And with the release of the Raptor R version of the F-150, so that would be the one with the V8, Hennessy actually does their own version of that too, and that actually puts out 1,000 horsepower. So unfortunately, we can't really drive it this time around because I think they're still working on it. But that'll be one to shoot for eventually. So you can never trust Italians. They just rock up and park in the middle. Oh! You're in the middle of the street, dude. So crazy thing, we're just here on the bridge, minding our own business, shooting these two trucks. And Alex Penfold with his Cayman on UK plates drops by with a bunch of other cars, including one car from Japan. So if we go down here, the yellow Megane RS on export Japanese plates. So this is Ken Saito's own car from Tokyo that he shipped over here on a carne, and is currently driving all the way down to Monterey. And there's a Japanese FC police car, and then these things, which I have no idea what these are. And Andrea with his Ferrari. Interesting addition to the evening shoot here on the bridge. So we've gone from like two extremely American cars to a nice selection of exotics, nice selection of Italian and German cars. There's even a 992 parking up. So these are the slabs. It's a whole new thing I have yet to experience. Air suspension and tank in the back. So more small children down. Crazy what you come across without even planning it. So I was driving an FC in Malaysia the other week, and here's another FC that is so JDM. It even has the plate to emphasize that. Today I am experiencing my first Cars and Coffee event here in Texas. We're just outside of Houston at a place which is basically called Fairfield Baptist Church, and they hold what looks like to be a very insane gathering here on Saturday morning. I actually drove in here with Shelby Velociraptor, FD running me down. Stock rims, so I got to park in the truck section. 34 GTR with a single turbo conversion. Old school Grady intake. Recaro seats. Pretty simple. HRE wheels, stock brakes. I like this. V-Spec 2 not. You can actually tell this is a Series 1 because the engine bay is actually black. It's not painted body color, which would have been the Koki. Cars keep rolling in. There's a few Lamborghinis as well. Huracan arriving here. But I'm just gonna keep walking and kind of embrace the turnout here. There's a lot of Corvettes. And these guys don't joke around with their mods. Supercharger, this is the LT4 ZR1. Now one I immediately caught my glimpse here is this S30. Not sure what it's running, but it's a very clean kind of resto mod, I guess. Parked up next to a Buick Riviera and a Corvette Stingray. And if you look here, there's a Supra coming in right now. So like I was saying, it's a great mix. You got like old school muscle cars, modern German Audis, completely tuned up Dynan M3. There's some serious looking carbon pack here. Gotta give some love to the trucks. So this looks like it has a Coyote engine. Let's check out this E92 here. Big supercharger bolted onto the V8. I just love to see modern engines in these older cars. So people come and go, it seems, very much like Daikoku Futo, or rather Daikoku parking area. I just spotted this 911 SC here. I love the simplicity of these cars. So nice. I love the dark brown leather. 996 GT3 in yellow with NK NT03s. Very nice choice. And of course, the US bumpers. Sweet speedster here. FD, 2 FDs, 3 FDs. I love the stock rims on this one. Pretty cool. There's actually a couple of booths here. They're selling Hot Wheels. This is the actual church. I'm just shocked how many cars there are. I mean, it just keeps going and going and going. Mercury Cougar, Mustang Fastback convertible, 180SX. 35s here. Of course, people love big power here, so you always get to see massive builds when it comes to the VR38s. The street racing / drag setup really does look cool on a 35. And of course, it's a must that these events usually get going at like 6 a.m. because it's just past like 8:30 now, and the sun is getting so strong. It's close to 40-degree sunny days pretty much every day since we've been here at least, and the forecast seems to be the same, so we have another week of really hot weather here. I've been seeing a lot of Hummers lately, I'm not sure why. Well, there you have it. That was our quick little stop by Cars and Coffee here at Fairfield Baptist Church. Really cool to kind of look at what basically people drive and kind of build out here in Texas. Really cool to see that there's a lot of JDM stuff happening as well, alongside the more American side of things that you would kind of imagine people having out here. So our journey continues. It looks like they popped the hood on the Supra. Single turbo. People love their single turbos out here. And you know what? After spending a few days driving the Ford Raptor and the Bronco Raptor, I totally get it. I mean, the highways here are just big, long, wide open spaces. It makes sense that you would want the most power as possible. helping us find these awesome locations. We have Bernie here with his RS6 Avant. If you remember, I actually saw it at the meet this morning, and we're gonna get some driving shots of it now. How long have you had this?
Yeah, I've had it almost 3 years.
3 years? So it runs a little bit of magic under the hood, 700 horsepower. You can, get to some crazy power levels of these twin turbo V8s. But it just looks so good with the ABT wheels, black on black. Okay, so Bernie's gonna let me drive his RS6 Avant. So it's running a chip, 700 horsepower. It's kind of like scratching the surface of what these insane 4-liter twin turbo V8s are all about. And the car sits nice and low on some ABT wheels. So let's hop in. All right, here we go. Look at the interior on this thing. So clean. Oh yeah. What a welcome sound. Jesus. Machine guns through the gears like crazy. Wow. Effortless. That is silly. And so the day continues. We are now at a night meet following the Cars and Coffee today, and also a couple of hours spent at Anime Matsuri checking out the cars. We heard about this meet from some of the guys who were displaying the cars at the show. So we decided to come and check it out. It's basically at a small strip mall type area, and there's a nice turnout of JDM stuff, as well as some other cars that I've seen roll in. So we're gonna take a quick walk around and see what we find. And curiously enough, I actually did see 3 or 4 Japanese imports roll in, including this Gloria here. This Gloria Gran Turismo, so right-hand drive. S2000 and T37s. Another import, a Nissan Leopard. Interesting thing to be seeing in Texas of all places. This is the little Eunice Roadster crew. Nice Supra, S2000 pairing. On Yokohama Advan GTs. I love the look on this. Sick color too. And the craziest thing for me is that, these guys are allowed to like start playing loud music like this. Like in Japan, that would just not happen. It wouldn't go down too well. Nice EF Civic over here. We got the RS6 that we drove today, Bernie's car. Parked up to another RS6 Avant on massive HRE wheels. FK8 rolling in. Next to a couple of other Civics. EF over here. A nice EK. Really clean. FD. And this would be the second R34 GTR we come across today. This is a Midnight Purple 3, and looks like it has the entire Nismo catalog thrown at it. Carbon airbox, carbon inlet piping, color matched RB26 covers, Nismo GT plenum, and legit R-Tune bonnet with the actual scoop that then plugs into the airbox. Very cool. So here's that Hachiroku. I tried to have a look before. I can get a nice view to the engine bay. A nice beams swap. Very clean.
Yeah, it is.
Clean inside and out. See a little digital display there. This guy forgot some of his body work at home. Nicely wrapped. STI. And another JDM import. So yeah, I have to say it's pretty cool to come out and check out the local car scene here in Houston. Pretty blown away by the variety and the attention to detail. Some of these cars, like this guy, doing like Onikan, like hardcore. That's, you know, total respect for me. JZA Supra just showed up here on the corner on some raised rims, and a Toyota Corolla wagon. I mean, amazing. I mean, you can't be not impressed by the execution and the attention to detail. And again, that strong Japanese vibe behind everything. So really happy I checked it out. And on we go with our trip here in Houston. I'm actually visiting a really cool place this morning. It was one venue a bunch of people out here in Houston told me about, and they said that I should probably drop by and have a look. So it's basically a place called Elara Garage. It's a big storage facility where car guys, pay up to keep their cars, and the cars are looked after and they're stored away in an air-conditioned warehouse. Obviously, for some obvious reasons, we can't really see those cars, but this place also has some cars for sale. So we're gonna go inside here and take a quick look at some of the cars that they have for sale and see if we can find anything interesting to look at. All right, so here we are. Down there's the area we can't show, so we're just gonna take a look at some of the cars that are up for sale, or some that are actually advertised as being either going up for sale on Bring a Trailer or already live on the site. A couple of Mondials here. It's really interesting that we see Mondials again, because we were actually looking at 2 or 3 in KL the other week. So yeah, really nice to see 2 more on display here. I guess these are the entry level into the Ferrari ownership experience, selling just under 100 for this one and 65 for this. Nice 944 turbo for 50,000. The Impreza to have, the 22B. Really cool to see one here in the US. This is not advertised as being priced quite yet. You're gonna have to ask for information on that. Okay, this is the last night before we fly out, and we came to see my friend Andrea, who has a very sweet 996 GT3 running on BBS Motorsport E88s. We're gonna go for a quick blast. I just need to hear this exhaust at full chat. I think it has the potential to sound really sweet, just judging from the idle. And there you have it. That is our last night here in Houston, Texas. Our flight leaves in about 10 hours. Gotta go back to the hotel, pack, and kind of start thinking about everything that's been done in the last few days. So many cool cars, and today, especially the last day, was a very memorable one. You know, starting off first with a massive long drive up to Dallas to visit T1 race developments and get to meet and talk to Tony there, who kind of kindly opened up the shop for us to see all the cool customer cars they're working on. And then back here in Houston, meeting with Andrea and getting to hear his famous 911 GT3 996 semi cup car. Amazing day, amazing time in Texas, and now it's back to Japan for some more JDM stuff.